I am David Zeitlin from the University of Oxford. I have co-curated the exhibition Photo Cameroon Studio Portraiture 1970-1990s with Erica Jones from the Fowler Museum. In this talk, I'm going to talk about Jacques Toussele and his family photographs. Jacques Toussele's archive features many shots of families living in West Cameroon in the 1970s, 1980s and 1990s. Among those photographs are actually images of his own family. In this presentation, I want to look at these photographs as examples of the sorts of images found in old family albums from that time and on the walls in living rooms in West Cameroon. In a few cases, I've been able to examine entire albums containing photos from many different photographers. Stylistically, they are all very similar, and Toussele's photos exemplify the genre. The albums contain photos of couples and their children, of marriages and of larger family groups. Photos mark special occasions such as New Year and other public holidays, including Cameroon's National Day. Sometimes they show special achievements, including the receiving of awards and honours such as long service medals from work. Photos in albums also mark the purchase of prized possessions such as motorcycles or cars. Jacques' own album shows him teaching photography as well as having photographs of him and his children, and the prized possessions purchased with money made from the photography business. It includes all the usual sorts of celebration, some at New Year, and of children. And there are photos of his in-laws. In fact, there are several of one of his mothers-in-law. I pluralise here because he had 3 wives, so 3 mothers-in-law, although the archive actually only has images of one of them. We should note that polygamy is legal in Cameroon, being common not only in the Muslim north, but also long established in the local cultural traditions of different groups throughout the country. In Bamileke tradition, where Jacques comes from, as in many ethnic groups, it is a sign of achievement for a man to be able to afford several wives. It is a sign of seniority and wealth. The Jacques Toussele archives also have some more personal photographs of him and his second wife, Ngafor. I particularly like these images whose unusual pose shows an intimacy not often found in such photos, and here are 2 examples. And of course, there are photos of his children. Babies and children were photographed not only to mark how fast they were growing, but also because not all survived into adulthood. In the period when these photos were taken, infant mortality rates were still quite high in Cameroon, although they soon started to fall, mainly in response to the introduction of childhood vaccinations. We've already seen an image of Annie on his motorbike. There's a similar one of his son Kennedy, now in Douala. And I want to end this section by returning to Jacques as a photographer and showing connections between his family photographs and him as a photographer. The photo in question is of one of his children, Wilson, who was born early in 1973. The photo was taken in around 1974. This was displayed in the studio and, after he retired, was hung on the wall of his house. Wilson is a maths professor who studied in Paris and now teaches in Yaoundé, the capital city. But this was clearly a prized photo at the time because copies of it were sent to his apprentices and it was displayed in their studios. I have instances from both Chila Joseph, as seen in this image, and another apprentice, Emmanuel, who set up a studio in Yokohama. Indeed, Emmanuel opened a studio in 1975 called Studio du 20 Mai aux Champs-Élysées, Photo Emmanuel Playboy, the 20th of May being a public holiday, the Cameroon National Day. And we can see this photo today because Emmanuel sent the print back to Jacques to show him that he had opened his own studio. And in this shot of the studio opening, the photo of Jacques' son is visible. The print ended up in a studio box with other sample or uncollected prints, so it got scanned as part of the archiving project. All of this is to point to connections and continuing links between Jacques and his apprentices, and in between the apprentices as exemplified or manifested through the history of that single family photo of one of Jacques' sons.